Morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to continue on with our scientific text. We're going to be talking about electricity and batteries. Yesterday we were talking about electricity and motion, and so we're going to go on and talk about next scientific text. Like yesterday's was cause and effect, and we're going to read on to see if we can see what kind of text feature this one is. Remember yesterday how the electrons started moving when the light switch was flipped, and that told us and helped us find that that was cause and effect. All right, so just remember our LEQ is behind us. How do I explain the relationship or interactions between events or ideas within a scientific or technical text? Remember that relationships that we're looking for in our text is either problem solution and cause and effect. We're also looking at our scientific nonfiction, which in this case, it's all about electricity and batteries today. And it's a technical text, and we're trying to see and read about how it's going to tell us a how-to, different things that are going on inside of the text. All right, so I have up here the PDF file to look at, and I'm not going to be able to highlight this one, but we're going to just be looking at it, and then when you go into your Nearpod, I want you to highlight the, go through our Unravel where you underline the title, you circle the numbers on the paragraphs, and we're going to be highlighting and talking about important details from the text that are important to us. So I'm going to read this to you, and then as we go, we're going to look at event number 1, how it goes to causes event number 2 and number 3. So let's go ahead and read. Electrical power are smartphones, music player, and other devices. Where does all the electricity for these small machines come from? Batteries, of course. Who invented the battery? And what did the battery teach us about the relationship between electricity and magnetism? Let's begin with the invention of the battery. In 1799, scientists didn't know much about electricity. When faced with the unknown, scientists got curious, and Alejandro Volta was curious indeed. I'm going to stop here just for a second, because when we go back up to the first paragraph, it talks about who invented the battery. And then it said, what did the battery teach us about the relationship between electricity and magnetism? So relationship is going together. And the invention of the battery started in this paragraph. So we're going to have to see what kind of relationships are building in this story. So it's talking about that the scientists didn't know much about electricity, and that this scientist was very curious, Alessandro Volta. Okay, so then we have, he discovered he could produce electricity by dipping 2 metals such as zinc and copper into a glass of salt water. He experimented further. First, he soaked the small pieces of cardboard in salt water. Next, he sandwiched 1 piece of soaked cardboard between copper disc and zinc disc. Finally, he stacked several sandwiches into a pile. When Volta attached a wire to the top and bottom of the pile, electricity flowed through the wire. The first battery was born. So I noticed the last sentence, the first battery was born. So the first sentence of that said, let's begin with the invention of the battery. And then the last sentence says the first battery was born. So this whole paragraph is telling us a sequence of events. We had the word first, we had the word next, and we had the word finally. And paragraph 3. In the following years, scientists made more discoveries about electricity. One of the most startling of these came in 1820. In that year, the scientist Hans Ørsted observed a compass needle that, when moved, that would brought near the wire to be hooked to a battery. Ørsted, knowing that the compass needles respond to magnets, realized electrical currents produce magnetic fields. Ørsted's recognition that electricity and magnetism are related are one of the most important discoveries of the 19th century science. Now, I'm going to stop there because I see that electricity and magnetism are related. Now, I look up here, that's a relationship right there. It's saying it's a cause and effect, and it's between 2 events. So it's very important, it says right there, within the scientific text. Today, batteries and electricity and magnetism are so common that you probably don't give them a second thought. So I'm saying that this is a connection right there, and that's related. But to people of 1799 and 1820, Volta's and Ulston's discoveries were magical. If you ever get a chance to build a battery and use it to generate a magnetic field, you might experience that a bit of old magic for yourself. All right, so when I go down to the next page, it says complete this organizer of important events in paragraphs 2 and 3. So let's look at the first one. Do you notice that it's just like mine? So what I went ahead and did, I think you can see it, is I wrote up there on, we asked ourselves, what kind of relationship do you see between the events and another? And how does understanding event help you understand another event? So we have this event, and our event is in our graphic organizer in the book. So they wrote down, and which I wrote there, Volta put small pieces of cardboard between the copper and zinc and stacked several of them together. All right, so you have to figure out event 2 and event 3. Okay, and then you're going to take a picture of this. You can take a picture with your phone and upload it to, text it to me, or you can upload it either way. And, and then you're going to go back into Schoology, and you're going to go to the next thing. So if I go back to Tuesday, and then I go to independent work, and then I click that it says, explain how Volta's discovery led to Ulston's discovery. Use details from the text to support your answer. It must be 4 to 6 sentences. And it says there's a hint on page 55 in today's reading. So then it says that you're supposed to write your comment right there and then hit post. Okay? So that is your assignment for today. And I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.